Glad you're staying with us today. Well, Mexican police have issued an arrest warrant in the death of that American tourist, Shanquella Robinson. Investigators say they believe the 25-year-old was killed by an acquaintance.
And now there are new questions about how justice will work across the border here. Matt Rivers has more from Mexico City.
Mexican authorities say they believe 25-year-old U.S. citizen Shanquella Robinson was killed by an acquaintance, another American woman, while on vacation in Los Cabos. Robinson was found dead at a luxury resort in late October, traveling with a group of friends whose actions immediately became suspicious. In one now viral video, too violent to show, Robinson is seen being severely beaten by another woman in her hotel room, while at least 2 people in the room watch or record the incident. In another, someone films Robinson taking a nap the day before she was killed. A police report from the day she died says guests at the resort called for medical help, claiming she had drunk a lot of alcohol. A doctor said she was, quote, stable but dehydrated, adding that the guests refused to bring her to a hospital. The police report said she went into cardiac arrest and was declared dead at 6 p.m. But an autopsy obtained by ABC News contradicted that report, saying she was declared dead 3 hours earlier, suffering from a severe spinal cord injury and a dislocated neck.
They attacked her and there was nothing she could do, and all she could say is no. She wasn't a fighter, no way. She has a good heart.
Mexican authorities now saying the prime suspect in the case back in the United States.
The fact that the person accused is an American citizen fundamentally changes all of the evaluation here.
Mexican prosecutors filing charges for femicide, which means they believe Robinson was killed at least in part because of her gender. Mexico is asking the U.S. to extradite the suspect to face charges in Mexico. The Department of Justice will have to evaluate any evidence.
If the U.S. authorities and potentially a U.S. court are not convinced that the Mexicans have a very strong case, then it's very unlikely that she would be extradited.
Now, U.S. authorities could also choose to prosecute this case themselves, and we know the FBI is already investigating. But I spoke to one former U.S. diplomat based here in Mexico who tells me that it's all about whether the Mexican government will cooperate here. Will they turn over their case files? Will they allow the FBI the access they need to properly investigate? Those remain open questions at this point. Kira?
All right, Matt Rivers, thanks so much.
And so for more on this intriguing case, let's bring in former NYPD Chief of Detectives and ABC News contributor Robert Boyce, as well as ABC News contributor, managing partner at the Cochran law firm, Shauna Lloyd. So, Shauna, let me begin with you on this question of extradition. If, in fact, the suspect is developed, the big question now is how would that process work from the U.S. to Mexico? How much we see the movies, people run across the border, but how effective is the extradition process in achieving justice for a suspect who's in Mexico?
Well, it's interesting because we do have a treaty that says that there can be extradition when persons are found to have committed a crime. Now, this one's interesting because we have an actual U.S. citizen who's accused of the crime who is still in the U.S. Mexico actually has to submit a request to have this individual arrested and then extradited. It is evaluated by the State Department and the Department of Justice Criminal Investigations International Affairs Office. Once they have found that the legal findings are sufficient to rise to the level of criminality, it's then forwarded to a district judge to issue that arrest warrant, and then a hearing is had. At that hearing, all the evidence is produced from what the Mexico authorities have gathered, and there's a determination if there's enough legally sufficient information in this investigation to determine charges that would support extradition.
So, Shauna, could we see Mexico engage in the prosecution regardless of whether the suspect is extradited or not?
Absolutely, because the U.S. can actually seek to bring charges against this suspect currently. Mexico has to support the investigation by providing all of the information, the evidence, and all of their case files that they currently have, because that's what the U.S. would be making any determination based on.
And Bob, this investigation across an international border is going to be complicated. How much cooperation would the United States get from authorities, police, investigators in Mexico? Does that work smoothly most of the time?
It does, but it depends on the issue. And the issue here is you have a big big problem in the timelines going forward. You have medical reports where they call at 2:15 for help, they leave, and then they come back, and then she's declared dead at 6 o'clock. That's not indicated on the coroner's report. There's some big problems they have to work through before anything of this goes forward. Also, we don't know what happened before that terrible video, that assault, or afterwards, or what time that was. There's so many questions here. It's going to take a while to hash out, but I think it will get done in the end. It's just what Shauna said before. If not, the FBI will prosecute those persons here in the U.S. if they can't get anything from Mexico that they need.
So then, Bob, did Mexican investigators drop the ball here in the initial stages of the investigation?
I can't say that without that information, but I tell you one thing, they don't seem to be coordinated with what the reports are coming out of there. The prosecutor, Mr. Anela, said basically they have a clarified case. I don't see how that's possible with these changes. Clearly, this thing changed 2 weeks after the event with the video going viral like that. It changed everything. And now here we have the Mexican authorities with an arrest warrant for a U.S. citizen. So things are really ratcheting up here. But I think it's going to be a long time before that family, the Robinson family, have the answers they want. But I think it's going to happen. It's just take a while.
Yeah, that's the point, Bob. It does look like now that there's so much attention on this, almost makes it more difficult. And I wonder about the Robinson family. Shauna, what recourse does the family, this young woman, cut down, killed in the prime of her life, what recourse do they have while these wheels of justice in two different countries grind away?
Unfortunately, they don't have a lot of influence on the system. Victims are typically, and their families are assigned a victim advocate to walk them through the process. But this process is strictly between our State Department, the FBI, and the Mexican government right now. They don't have as much influence to push. Now, they can always, want to encourage them to keep investigating, but they don't have any authority right now for the family.
Yeah, it's such a disturbing case in so many ways. And Shauna Lloyd, Robert Boyce, thanks very much, as always, for being with us.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.